Hi, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tina Hull. How are you doing? So, today is Monday. It is a new moon. So, there's lots of energies flying around. There's lots of opportunities for us to release the old, to let go of the past, to forgive. That's a really big one for this time of the month as well, and to be able to really step into what you want and desire. And this is why I am holding this masterclass today. I don't know if some of you know or not, I got hacked last week and I'm still don't have my Instagram account back. The hackers tried to blackmail me to get money out of me. Very bizarre. And then last week they sent me a message, supposedly from the FBI, saying that if I want my accounts back, then I better. Can't remember what the wording was because I didn't really pay much attention to it. But basically, they're coming after me. If I don't know. So I'm here on Facebook again. Thank you. And I'm so glad to be back there. And just, I've got a new account on Instagram and not sure what I'm going to do because it's been 2 weeks already. And I'm still plugging along, I'm still trying to get Facebook to honor their side of things because the hackers came in through Facebook and because my both accounts were connected, that's how they got into Instagram. So I will no longer be connecting them. I have two-factor authorized everything, including my emails, because that was one of the problems, is that my emails weren't two-factor authorized. So learn from my mistake, please, and take care of your stuff. Because let me tell you, when you're out, it's really difficult to get back in. And I just thank the divine universe because I truly believe that there was some highly um, interaction from the universe. Let me put it that way, because I was led to do certain things, and somehow that what I was led to do got me able to take off their email and their phone number from my Facebook account. But this is why I can't get into my Instagram, is because of that. They have both those locked in. So I'm claiming the life I desire, which is to get my Instagram back as well as my Facebook and be in full commission and being able to help people as much as I possibly can. So that's just one example of what you can do to create the life you desire. Now, the old me is the one that attracted that. And it's also an up level because I came back fierce and I came back with a fire in my belly because honestly, and I'll admit this, that I had taken for granted my Facebook followers because I've been in Facebook longer and it's taken me longer, it seems, to get traction there for getting clients. And so for some reason in my head, Instagram shifted because I have an Instagram ad system where I was starting to get clients through that system. And so it seemed quote unquote easier. And I was building my client base around and my followers around people who needed me. And it was a little easier system to be able to talk to people that actually want to know what you know in regards to a certain topic. And I was specifically talking about anxiety, overwhelm, and heightened stress. And we all have it and we all manage it differently. So when I was going through this experience, a friend of mine was also going through something really heavy and intense, and encouraging him to rise and encouraging him to step into who he really is and encouraging him to really take the bull by the horns. Because oftentimes, unfortunately, through last year as well, and Instagram. I know it sucks. I'm glad you got yours back too. And unfortunately, they're not very helpful. That is one of the big realizations. And it's easier to get your Facebook back than your Instagram for some reason. It doesn't make any sense to me. But anyway, I digress. I am grateful to be back. You completely started, oh no. Yeah, I'm debating on that on my Instagram at this point because it's taking a long time to really process that. Although I still have faith. I know I'm going to get the old account back. I know it. So we have a tendency to live passively, to allow things to happen to us. And we don't realize that we are co-creators of the life that we have, either consciously or unconsciously. And if we live passively, then it's usually unconsciously. So when I was in my 20s, I remember having this conversation with my boss and mentor at the time, and him asking me, like, what do you want? And at 20 years old, who the hell knows, right? Like, you're just coming out of college or university, which I was, and I had no clue what I was. I was a student for so long, and you're part of the system. So you go from your parent system to the school system, and then you're getting told what to do and how to do it, and dictated by those systems. And then you come out and you're an adult. And you're supposed to make these life decisions. And you're like, what the hell? How is this possible? It's not possible. So it's just really important for us to understand there is a process to all of it, and it's okay. Wherever you are, just breathe. You're going to be okay. This is a mantra that I have used for the last 6 or 7 years. Everything's going to be okay. Because it is. At the end of the day, it may not seem like it right now, but it will be on the other side of it. So I was living passively, and him and his partner sat me down during this meeting one day, and they were, because I was being, according to them, quote unquote, heavily influenced by one of my colleagues who was basically anti the business. And so he said to me, Tina, you've got to start putting your oar in the water and directing your life. I had no idea what he was talking about. I'm like, okay. And then his partner was saying I was like a lemon. And you know, the fish basically they swarm, and they eventually go off the cliff of a waterfall, and then they die. So this is what I was being accused of. All fine and good. It's part of the process. We learn, right? So I thought I had shifted, and maybe in some areas I had, and maybe some areas I didn't. But a lot of times I felt out of control, not in my personal power, like I was stuck, I was floundering, I was unsure of my direction, my mission, my next moves. And I just felt like there's got to be something better than this. How many of you felt that? Raise your hands or say me. So when I started to really delve deep into personal development work, I started to understand more about this process. And so I learned and came to understand and know that things are happening for me. And when I had this realization, it was a huge shift. And when things are happening for you, then you're seeing things through a different lens. You're understanding that there's certain things that are happening, and it's an opportunity for us to heal certain things, to learn a lesson from certain things, or to see maybe even how far we've come. And this is really amazing when we start doing this, because we can realize that we're growing and we're evolving and we're changing and we're shifting and we're doing all the things, and it's working out for us. So the other thing that I've come to understand and know is that we co-create our life with the universe. So if we are living a life by design and not by default, then we're no longer feeling out of control and out of power and stuck and all the other things that you're feeling. So we want to know that it's going to change and things are going to get better, and it has to start and end with us. That's the God's honest truth. If you take nothing else from this masterclass and you realize that it is your responsibility to make life the way you want it, then that's the biggest gift I can leave you. Because again, this is something when we're passively living, we don't see and we don't understand. And we're reacting and responding to our outside world. So often through my marriage, I would react and respond to my ex-husband. And I would react and respond to my girls. And I would react and respond to my finances. And I would react and respond to my business. So it was constantly, and you're exhausted because you're constantly putting out fires and you're constantly trying to keep up with everything. And you're constantly trying to figure it out. And you're constantly trying to, it's like you're on this hamster wheel. And I used to feel like I was on a roller coaster. Things were going really well. And all of a sudden I get to a peak, and then all of a sudden things would drop down and then maybe peak again, but not so high. And then I would drop down even further. And it was just this constant up and down. And it is exhausting. Who can relate to that? I did. So when we're doing that, there's an easier way. And this is what this masterclass is all about. So we ask, and the universe knows what we want, and it's important for us to define it. So if you're saying, I want $1 million, for example, but you're saying I want $1 million, but in the next breath you're saying that, it doesn't matter how much money you make. How is that possible? The universe can't give you what you want if you're contradicting yourself. And this is the power of working with a coach and a mentor, because they can hear and see your contradiction, because your actions also may not back that up, that you want to be a millionaire. So it's about awareness. We become the investigator of our lives, of what we say, what we do, what we're thinking, what we're feeling, what we're believing, and who we are being, our identity. So we're paying attention to everything. And this has been really fun for me in a lot of ways, because I remember this one phase that I was going through, and my ego was trying to pull me back. And we'll discuss this at a later date, but I was trying to move forward, and my ego kept trying to pull me back, because ego mind wants us to stay safe. And when we're staying safe, we're staying in what we're used to. And so if we're used to being frustrated, we're used to being angry, we're used to being scared, we're used to being frustrated, then ego mind's going to keep putting us into those situations that are like that, because that's what we're used to, and it is now our comfort zone. So it's as simple as that, and not as easy to break out of. So we want to then become aware of the fact that, so as my higher self kept taking me forward, I was observing it was very wild. From the 5D world, me moving forward, doing all the things that I needed to do, even though ego mind and my outside circumstances were trying to pull me back into my old identity. So this is going to be part of your experience. Expect it, know it's going to happen, and when it does, you're going to go, oh, Tina warned me that was going to happen. And then you can just see it for what it is. It's part of the process. It's part of the shifting and the changing and the growing and the evolving. Okay? So having said that, our only rule is after we ask, and we do it consciously or unconsciously, the universe goes to work and it's going to do what it needs to do, put the right people in the right places, put you in the right places if you're listening and paying attention. And our job is to align and allow ourselves to receive all that we desire. That is a formula. Ask and you shall receive. And align to allow. That is the formula. Now, are we doing that? Most often not, especially allowing and receiving. We often step into the role of, okay, I want XYZ, so what do I have to do? How hard do I have to work? How am I going to create this? How? How is it possible that I'm going to be a millionaire when I have minus $20 in my bank account? The how is not your job. I know, it's awful. And for us who like to control things, it can be scary as crap. So we have to take lots of deep breaths and just trust. Trust on a whole new scale and a whole new level. This past year has been all about faith, trust, and belief for me. And it's been getting stronger, and my messages are getting clearer, and I'm connecting with people that are needing and wanting my services because I'm in this space. So it can happen for you, and it takes a concerted effort. You can't just do one thing. It's just like an athlete who wants to become an Olympian or a part of a high-level team. And you go out and practice maybe a couple times a week, kind of half-ass it, and expect yourself to get there, to be part of that team or to be part of the Olympics in the first place. You have to make the concerted effort. You have to set your intention that this is going to be what you are going to get. No excuses, no justifications, no trying to explain your way out of it, because then you're out of your personal power. We have to step into this. So the other thing we get into, caught up in, besides the how, is the when. And that's not our job to know either. So this has been something that I've really had to work on, because it's one of those things where, young kids, you're in a trip and you're driving in the car and they're saying, Mom, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? I was doing the same thing. And it keeps it what we desire away by doing that. Who can relate to that? I was really bad at that. So think about it like Amazon. So if you order something from Amazon and it gives you an approximate date between the 5th and the 10th that is going to arrive, are you going to Amazon and are you looking up where the package is, and are you looking, this is the how, and you're looking to see that it's going from XYZ hardware store or whatever to the warehouse, to the plane, to the airport, to the other warehouse, to the truck, and then to your home? Do you really pay attention to all of that? And do you have to know? Or do you put in your order and you just trust? Trust that it's going to happen. Trust that it's going to arrive. And trust that as the 5th to the 10th gets closer, it will narrow down the actual date and time so you can be around and be available to receive the package. There's a level of trust that we have to go into. And I find it really interesting because there's a lot of people who claim to have faith, but they don't have trust. And they don't believe that they will actually get and receive what they desire. So I question their faith and I question how strong it is. And the truth is whatever we ask for, we can receive. We're asking for it every day. So if your outside world is not looking the way you want it, it's because you need to heal the inside world. And I have a video up on my YouTube channel, Tina A, capital A, period, Hull, called Heal from the Inside Out. And it was a 90-minute masterclass if you want to take a look at that and really realize, again, it's all about us. It's about our energy, our frequency, our vibration. And that comes out in what we say, what we do, what we think, how we feel, what we believe, and who we see ourselves as, and who we are when we're doing what we're doing. So again, if you go out there and let's say you're an entrepreneur and you're putting out into the world a program and you're kind of waffling about what it is and your energy's kind of there but not there, but then you get upset and disappointed because no one's responding to you're not commenting on your posts, or nobody's jumping in and wanting to actually sign up for it. What's your energy? Check your energy. What is your energy behind it? And are you trying to make yourself right? So this is another human fallacy that we have. We have the need to be right. So is there a subconscious thought that's saying, oh, people will not sign up for it. People will not want this. And you're being unclear is not allowing people to actually see the value of what you're doing and what you're offering. So again, it's your energy. And persons need to be able to dial into you and what you're offering. And sometimes words matter. So you've got to pay attention to the words that you're saying and projecting out there. So again, I was guilty of this. I would be really excited for the first couple of days. I would kind of lull in the middle of it all, maybe pick back up again because I was getting a little bit of traction. I was excited because some people were signing up and people were going. And the last two, I've had nobody show up. And I had 30 or so more actually ask for the replay. And that's okay. It doesn't matter. The how does not matter. And someone who listens to those things can eventually become a client. So we have to trust. And it could be just a stepping stone for you. Maybe it's something that you put out there and it's meant for you that day and then it's gone again. And that's okay too. So we've got to trust. We've got to trust. We've got to trust. And we've got to believe. So as humans, including myself, we have a tendency to want to dictate the how it's going to come. And usually we think it's through hard work or through our business or through our partners, or if we're open to it, it can come from a random rebate. One of the ladies that I'm in a mastermind with had gone to, I think it was her internet provider, and all of a sudden she's trying to figure out how she's going to pay her bill. And they tell her that she gets an $800 rebate. And that's because she's been working on her energy and who she's being and stepping into a higher version of herself. And she was stunned and she was grateful and she was stunned. So it can come that way. It can also come through friends. Now, I bought a car and my family wasn't here at the time, and my ex-husband wasn't sending any money to help pay the bills. So it was all on me. And so I bought a car, I took a loan out, and unfortunately I used part of the loan for help pay the bills because it was particularly slow in the clinic, and it was slow in my business, and it was slow in my apartment rental. So all of that, I had to pay the bills in my head. That was my responsibility. So somebody put a message in my friend's heart to ask me to work for her for the day. It didn't make any sense because she was closing the following week and it's really slow time of year. And so I thought, okay, well, I wasn't busy, so I go down and help her. So I go down, I'm helping her, and the gas goes out. Because the gas went out, then I didn't get any lunch or dinner. And I really wanted the fish and chips because they make fish and chips. And so I end up staying, and I didn't know how I was going to get a ride home, but usually if I stay, then someone will drop me home. And so I'm sitting there and we're chatting with friends of ours, and they're saying, "Oh, Tina, it's really great to see you on a Friday," because there was a gentleman that was here who was dropping me down on Fridays, but they had left the island. And so we were chatting, and they knew that I was getting a car. And the car was here. It's just that because I dipped into the duty and the taxes part of the payment, I couldn't get the car out. And so then I kind of told them a little brief thing while I was doing something for the restaurant owner. And then friends called me over and we were chatting and whatnot. And then the same couple called me over to talk to me and said, "Tina, how much do you need for the car?" Because they knew that this has been an ongoing thing and the backstory to it. And so I told them, and he was a little hesitant at first. And he said, "Okay, so tomorrow I'm going to come pick you up. We're going to go down to the duty and tax place. We're going to pay it all. And then we're going to pay for your license, pay for the insurance, and get your car out. And only two conditions. One is you never tell a soul. And two is that you pay me back when you can." It's like the biggest blessing in the world. Now, I could not have scripted that. I could not have come up with that. So the how is not our job. The universe has bigger and better things in store for us. So can you imagine if I tried to write out a script for how it was going to look like? That scenario would never have come to me, and it wouldn't have come to me so easily and effortlessly. So the how does not matter. There's going to be nudges you're going to be given. You're going to be told to go somewhere or do something by the universe. And you may not understand why, and it doesn't make any sense, and that's okay. Just follow the nudges. They will lead you where they need to lead you. So the question is, how do we align and allow and how to be patient, trust, have faith, and believe. So we want to get in alignment and take energetic responsibility is what I call this. So energetic responsibility is, for me, is paying attention to everything that you do, you say, how you're being, how you're acting, what you're thinking, how you're feeling, and your beliefs. So we want to unravel it all the mindset pieces, and to be able to figure out where we need to heal things, where we need to let go of things and release things, and where we need to shift our perspective on things. And if you're experiencing anxiety, overwhelm, or stress, and you're trying to control the outcome, the how, by anticipating everything, then you could be in trouble. Because again, this is a universe that's about energy, it's about vibration and frequency. And if we allow ourselves to work with the universe, we can receive what we desire on an easier, faster scale. Quantum physics. So this is not about showing faith in the universe. This is not about having belief in the universe and that will be providing for us. This is not about having trust that everything will always work out for you. It's about all of that. Now, that was a little contradictory. So we have a tendency to think that we are the ones in control. So I had another situation where I had my family had left and we had a personal loan. I thought the personal loan was ending in May, and I got my car loan for first payment was going to be in April, so I got it in March. And it was like an extra couple $100. So I figured for 2 months I could pay the extra full amount, and then for the next 4 years I would pay the extra $200, and it wouldn't be too far out of my reach. Only to find out that I still had another 1.5 years to the loan. But they took out 2 payments because the system hadn't caught up. And so they took out 2 payments, which was my mortgage payment. And so I'm freaking out. And so I'm walking home, I'm crying my tears, and I just had this calm wave because I've been doing this work. Calm wave, peace come over me. And all I thought was, give it up to God and surrender. And that's what I did because it was out of my control. There was no way that I was going to be able to figure out how to pay these bills and be able to still have food in my belly and a roof over my head and clothes on my back. I just didn't know how. Because now it was that much more. It was 3 times more money that I had been anticipating paying. So the next week, I did a masterclass, and during that masterclass, I had someone reach out to me and pay me in full to work with me as a coach. So we've got to let go. We cannot control these things. I hope this is making sense. I hope this is making sense. Because it is our job to have faith, trust, and believe in something other than ourselves. Now, everything is in response to us. Yes. And we're co-creating with the universe. So we co-create usually in the negative. So we know how to do it all the time. If your outside world does not look like what you want it to be, it's because it's coming from us. There's something inside of you that needs to heal. Maybe you don't feel worthy enough, deserving enough, good enough. Those are the three main ones. Those are the cores. Maybe you don't value yourself. Maybe you're not confident enough. And the confidence is making you hesitate in putting things out there. Maybe you're a perfectionist, which shows up as procrastination because you're afraid to put something out there and you'll be judged because it's not perfect. Whatever it looks like, it's us creating the scenario and the experience on the other side. So how many of you see yourself as a victim? Would you define yourself as that? Do you see how being passive and waiting for things to happen is actually being in victimhood, where you're reacting and responding all the time, feeling out of control, you're not in your personal power? That's where I was for a long time. My mother was a big influence on me growing up, and she lived that life for a very long time. Even if it didn't happen to her directly, if it happened to one of us kids, then it was, oh, woe's me, I can't believe my child's going through this and whatnot. And she thought she was being compassionate. And I guess on some level she was, but it wasn't her life experience, it was ours. So we have to focus on ourselves. Now, if you're a parent, obviously you have your kids to worry about, but it has to be about you. You have to love yourself. You have to heal what needs to be healed. You have to move forward into your best version of you. Well, you don't have to. I highly recommend it because it feels pretty damn awesome when you do. So here's the shift. When you start seeing things from everything's happening to me to everything's happening for me. So if you have an experience right now and you ask yourself, if this is meant for me, what do I need to learn? What do I need to heal? Or what do I need to let go of? Those three questions will help you shift things in a big way, and it will shift very quickly. So if you want to live by design and create the life you desire, then you want to start looking at the role that you play, that we play, that I play in my own life, and be energetically responsible. So become the investigator and the observer of everything you say, you do, you think, you feel, you believe, you identify as, or nothing will change. There's a saying that I think Bob Proctor said this: if you do the same thing over and over again and you expect to get a different result, that's a definition of insanity. If things are not working, if you've got the roller coaster ride going, if you've got the up and down, if you're exhausted, if you're tired of the life that you've created, then things need to change. And it's only going to change when you make the change. So no one accused me of being fancy and dance around these things. I'm very straightforward and upfront, so I'm not going to play nice. These are sometimes hard things we need to hear in order for us to make the change that needs to happen. So all these things have a frequency and a vibration, and we're projecting that out into the world. So if I say to you, I want to be a millionaire, Do I sound convincing? Yeah, not so much. Because there's a doubt in my mind that I will be a millionaire. So if I say I'm willing to be a millionaire, or it'd be fun to be a millionaire, or it'd be interesting to be a millionaire, maybe. Would I get what I want? Perhaps. But there is a belief and some other core beliefs probably that I need to work on first in order for me to figure out how to do that, how to actually become that millionaire. And there's probably even beliefs of millionaires that aren't very positive and very reinforcing. So when I grew up, anybody who had a lot of money, if they were rich, then they were not nice people. If they were rich, then they focused on money and not their families, and they weren't very good parents, or they showered the kids with lots of gifts, but they didn't shower them with love. There was a lot that I had to unravel when it came to the money piece, because it's part of it. So what is your money beliefs? I grew up with money doesn't grow on trees. You have to work really hard to get money. And even when you get the work hard, you still don't get the money you deserve. How many of you had that one? So we want to just play. Sorry. These headphones aren't working very well. So we want to play and have fun. We want to just get curious and pay attention. So there was one, I can't even tell you why I said it or thought it, but there was this time where I was working on being happy. And at one time, I actually didn't think that I would ever be happy, that it wasn't meant for me, that it's elusive and it's not going to be something that I experience. And so I eventually did start to feel happy. And so then I had this very random, quick thought. This is why it's so important to pay attention to your thought. That I wonder if I could be happy and not have any money. Now, why the hell would I think that? I have no idea. And the universe quickly went to work. And all of a sudden, I had cancellations in my clinic, and people weren't showing up, and I wasn't getting calls for new appointments. And I remember saying to my ex-husband when we were married at the time in bed one morning, and it's like, I feel like there's this veil in front of me where my people can't see me, they can't feel me, they can't sense me. It's like I have this block, this wall between me and my client. And I couldn't understand it. And then I realized, again, by the divine, because this is such a fleeting thought, that I had created it by having that thought. So then I went to work quickly to shift that thought. I can be happy without money. Let's see if I can be happy with money. So what are we saying to ourselves? What are we saying to other people? So this is also what I've noticed with my clients, is that they'll say one thing that they want and desire, and then 3 sentences later, they're saying the contradictory statement that's actually blocking them from getting what they want and desire. And they're like, no, I didn't say that. I said, you did. I wouldn't make it up. So there's subconscious thoughts, and then there's conscious thoughts. And usually the subconscious thoughts are the things that we have to heal. So when we work through this and do what we need to do in order for us to get what we want and desire, we need to do the pieces. We need to do the mindset work. We need to be the investigator and get curious. We need to do the energetic work of paying attention to everything that we're a part of. but also healing a lot of this. And it doesn't have to take forever. It doesn't have to take 20 years. Some people think that it does. And if that's what you think, God love you. I wasn't willing to do that. So the faster you can heal, the better. So if you are interested in working with me one-on-one, you let me know. If not, that's all good. We're all good. So tomorrow, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about our beliefs a lot more. And we're going to talk about how to unravel them and heal them. Going to talk about the law of attraction and manifestation and how it works, and becoming more in alignment with what you want, or in simple terms, closing the gap between what you want and where you are, so we can get what you want in the end. So if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to either put it in the chat. I will eventually put this up on YouTube, and you can ask the questions in YouTube on the comment section. You're welcome to DM me if you're not sure as well. And that way, I will also address it on either tomorrow or Wednesday, depends on what the topic or the question is involving. Okay. Jen, do you have any questions for me before we break? I know you're tired.
Do I type or am I speaking?
That's good.
No, I'm just taking notes.
Okay.
I know a lot of this stuff, but I think I've been going really, 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 really fast for a long time. And
Mm-hmm.
I can relate with a lot of things you're saying, not being completely present and aware of exactly what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes into that frustration and then saying it out loud.
Right. Yeah.
And I've been a single parent for 10 years, no child support for 9. And
Mm-hmm.
what I
Yeah.
kept was I asked to slow down. And so as
Mm-hmm.
the years went by, I'm looking back going, did slow down. Things did reveal themselves. Things did start showing me why it was like that, why it got chaotic, why
Mm-hmm.
I had these habits, similar growing up, very critical, very controlling, of abuse. So I created all these mental habits of worthiness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A slew of clients all last year, and then I also went through hacking and some of that stuff, and then my business totally dropped, and it's been very random. Like I'll get a
Yeah.
client for 2 months or a week, and then I won't have any for 2 months. Um,
Right.
and I've actually been okay with that lately because I want to breathe for a minute and not feel their trauma. I realized I was just,
Right.
uh, I was getting pulled into their stuff a lot. So I'm really glad I took this class with you because I was like, oh, I'm too tired. I'm like, I just, you're going through transformation, and that's all her thing said is like transformation to the phoenix, and you feel that it's exactly what's happening to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I was tunneled for hours last night from Jesus, like surrender.
Mm.
Oh,
It's the biggest thing.
got you.
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah.
doing great, surrendering, but it it's been a lot of periods where I've had to totally surrender.
Right.
So
Yeah, and then we forget, and then we take back control, and then we think it's our job, and then we think it's coming from us, and then we think we've done something to create it in the first place. So then trying to rack brain, what was I, and why did I, or how did I get that in the first place? And then you realize it had to do. I mean,
yeah,
it
it's
did
like,
in the separation there.
yeah,
When
I love that
the
relationship. I love
didn't
that.
do anything. Yeah, yeah, totally. Great
Yeah,
awareness. This is what's so important, right? All about these.
you're getting a little choppy. It's kind of hard to.
It's all the awareness. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's coming from me or if it's coming from your puppy too. Because it's not showing on my side that it is. Okay. I did.
Yeah, I think the connection is not very good, Tina. You're very, yeah, we can't even hear you right now. And the sound when it comes in, it's very actually out of sync with the image.
Okay, is it better?
Keep talking.
No. This is supposed to end.
Oh no.
Taking a break, so we'll have time to come back to that.
So it's going to be 9:30. Thanks for joining me, ladies. If you please do not hesitate to reach some way, and I will address questions tomorrow, Wednesday.
Can you put it in
And
the chat because we
Sorry?
can't understand what you're saying? Can you put it in the chat? Because I can't understand anything you're saying.
yeah. Okay. Well,